I watched every Studio Ghibli film, so
You don't have to.
Or so you can know which ones to watch? Or maybe you might get a unique insight on what Ghibli is? We're going to talk about Studio Ghibli. We're going to be getting into what makes Studio Ghibli a many times over award-winning studio / nominated studio, some of the history behind Ghibli and what they do to make their movies special, and wrap it up with a personal tier list where I talk about all 24 movies. Let's get into it by starting off with what makes Studio Ghibli special. Ghibli was founded all the way back on June 15th, 1985 in Tokyo, Japan, by a certain director you may have heard of. I'm gonna fucking butcher these names, just a fair warning. Hayao Miyazaki, as well as Isao Takahata and producer Toshio Suzuki, with their first official Ghibli film being Castle in the Skies in 1986. But Miyazaki did produce a film known as Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind back in 1984 before Ghibli was officially founded, which is known as an honorary Ghibli film. Ghibli has won 2 Academy Awards for Best Animation and has been nominated for many more, and deservingly so. Ghibli has their own unique style of animation, being inspired by things like Japanese folklore. With hand-drawn retro animation, it's a very much captivating, charming art style, beautiful world design, smooth, buttery animation. Even the sound design was something that I personally took note of that I think they did a really good job on. Each movie offers a relatable, straightforward theme that they push throughout the movie, whether it's not getting stuck in the past, the value of friendship, or even environmentalism. One of the big things that makes Studio Ghibli a special studio that makes, well, special movies, and that's the mix of genres: slice of life, action, romance, fantasy, adventure. Each movie offers its own unique setting, whether that's ocean shore, medieval, modern Tokyo, ancient Tokyo. It creates a studio which can offer something to any viewer no matter what they're interested in, and keep the binge watchers like me interested the whole way through. One small detail that made a big impression on me was the small human mannerisms that bring the characters and its world to life, whether it's something as small as accidentally dropping a tomato or stalling your car. I noticed those things, and they make the story feel more immersive. Something I hear from anime fans all the time is how anime is an escape from reality, whether it's escaping from your job, escaping from the hardships of life. All corniness aside, anime can really be an escape from your emotional issues and daily life struggles. And I think out of anything that I've watched, Studio Ghibli encompasses that escapism the most, which can make the MCs feel pretty relatable. And not every Studio Ghibli film shares that otherworldly experience that makes some of their best movies great, but Ghibli has proven time and time again that they don't need that world design to make a great movie. Some are firmly planted in reality and still hold up to movies like Howl's Moving Castle that are set in a more magical environment, but they all share that slow pacing that allows for reflection and personal growth, with nature being a center point in almost every film. Each and every frame allows for a beautiful image. You can just feel the love and care that was poured into each and every movie, except for one. That's enough about the studio. Let's get into tier list. Before we get into the tier list, I would love some opinions and conversations going on down in the comments section. So if you have anything to add, disagree with, call me a piece of shit for not liking your favorite movie, leave them down in the comments. All right, let's get into the tier list. There's a lot of movies, so I'm going to try to go pretty quick, but we'll see what I can make happen. There's 24 movies, so we're going to try to blow through them and kind of just talk a little bit about each movie, then go to the next one. So, The Secrets of Heredia. Definitely not my favorite Studio Ghibli film, but definitely a cool concept. It's basically about a bunch of little people, and I mean really little people, that live in people's houses, and they're borrowers. They basically borrow from humans, and they survive off of the little stuff that they borrow, only needing a little bit to survive. I feel like the story is a little bit weak on this one. I just feel like the villain is just a weird, kooky ass old lady. Something feels off, something feels missing. So for that reason, I'm gonna go B with this one. Still a good movie, but not the best movie. Castle in the Sky, like I said, their first true Studio Ghibli movie, and a really good one. I'm shocked because I thought that the older movies would be worse, but they're not. They're actually some of the best ones are the oldest ones. So we're gonna go A with that one. The Cat Returns. Now this is one that might be a little controversial, or some people might not like it as much because it doesn't really have that high of a rating on my anime list. list, but I loved this movie. This movie is really good. It's actually a sequel to Whisper of the Heart. I think it's way better than Whisper of Hearts. Really is just such a vibe. Very, very good. For that reason, I'm going top of A. Tales of Earthseed. This one is one of their worst rated movies, and for a good reason. It's kind of a schlop of a story, very strange, but it still has that Studio Ghibli feel and animations. Compared to the next movie that we're going to be talking about, this movie is pretty solid, but it's still C tier for me. Definitely not higher than that. It was still not their best, and it's one of their worst rated for a reason. Next up, we have the true #1 worst movie Studio Ghibli has ever made and probably will ever make. Earthwig and the Witch. Just a dog shit story, dog shit characters, 3D animation, which is going away from what Studio Ghibli is and what everyone loves about Studio Ghibli. So for that reason, bottom of D tier, and it will stay there forever, and it will probably never be beat by any Studio Ghibli film. This is going to be another possible controversial one, but Grave of the Fireflies. This movie is a good movie, and there's no doubt about that this is a very well made good movie. But to me, it was pure misery to watch, and I would never watch it again or recommend this movie to anyone. So for that reason, my personal enjoyment of the movie, it's gonna have to go C tier. And I know probably a lot of you watching this video will disagree with that and think I'm an idiot, but you have to understand this movie is just so miserable. Like, there's nothing goes good. And I know it's a good movie and it's made for a certain reason, but I just, as a movie and enjoyment, I watch movies to be entertained, not be pure misery blasted in my face. So I'm gonna give it C tier. Next up, we have one of the best Studio Ghibli films and my personal favorite, Howl's Moving Castle. Just a very magical world, very good movie with some great voice acting, music, story, ending, all around just a great movie. Most people know Howl's Moving Castle, and it's one of the best. So we're going S tier with that one. The Tale of Princess Kaguya. This is the first movie where they steered away from their typical animation style, and it's really good. It's a very unique animation and very unique story. I don't think it was that good of a story. It's kind of feels like it's like pulled off of like a script from back in the day. Very painterly smooth animation with strong Japanese folklore vibes. Not the best story ever, but still a good one. One thing that makes this movie a little bit miserable to watch is the dad character in this movie. He is her #1 op the entire movie, just like literally doing everything she doesn't want to happen. He makes it happen. It's a little bit bad, but it's still a good movie. Definitely, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm thinking B tier on this one. Kiki's Delivery Service, another good one, a very wholesome one. Going through Kiki's journey to become a full-blown witch. Good movie, strong B. When Marnie Was There, this one was interesting. I thought this was supposed to be a super sad movie, but it really wasn't. It was a little bit confusing the whole time, but the ending wrapped up everything really nicely. Quite a good movie and one of their best, so I'm gonna give it an A. My Neighbor Totoro, most people know My Neighbor Totoro. It's a very good movie, reminding me a lot of Alice in Wonderland. I'm gonna give it A tier, and pretty high on A tier as well. My Neighbors the Yamadas, this is their other movie that steers away a lot from their typical animation style. It's even a lot more simplistic of a style than the Tales of Princess Kaguya, but this movie is a good movie about family, a wholesome movie, and kind of just showing you how valuable your family is and how much you should value your family. Still not the craziest story or anything, but I would give it a strong B. Now this next one, Ocean Waves. This one's an interesting one. Another one that is rated very badly, and I thought it was gonna be really bad. It was not bad. It was pretty good, and I will say I might have some sort of bias because I did watch this right after I watched Earthwig and the Witch. So going back to their 2D animation was just an amazing feeling, but I did think the movie was pretty good and it had a good ending. I liked it. I would put it B tier. Now this one is interesting. Another one with some strange animation. Only Yesterday. This one is their third and last weird animation, and this one is a lot closer to their typical animation. One thing that absolutely killed this movie for me was the weird cheek lines they did. They kept doing this weird shading cheek line that made everyone look like they were 1,000 years old, and then did this weird creepy smile. It was weird, and literally for that reason alone, and the movie wasn't that good, period, I'm gonna put a D tier. Not as bad. Sorry, let me change this around. Not as bad as Earthwig and the Witch. That movie is god awful, but still pretty bad. Next one up, another not really that good one. Pompoko, it's a weird one. It's about environmentalism, and I think it has a good message, but just the raccoons, and this is gonna sound weird if you haven't seen this movie before, but their inflatable ball sack.
Tactical nuke incoming! Damn! Oh shit!
Weird choice. I can't really get into this movie, and for that reason, it's gonna go C tier. Let me move Grave of the Fireflies. This is top of C tier. Ponyo. This one was one that I was really excited to watch the whole time when I was going through the list of things to watch. I wanted to watch Ponyo, and it did not disappoint. It was a really, really good movie. I love this movie from the start to the end. The animation immediately hooks you. It's just a beautiful world, an underwater world, which you don't really get to see in any of the other movies. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was really good. It's going A tier for sure, and probably behind The Cat Returns. From Up on Poppy Hill, this one's a kind of weird one because basically the whole movie is kind of a romance between these two characters. They come to find out that they're actually possibly siblings. So it's just a really weird situation, and then they later find out that they're not. One thing I did really like in this movie is just the vibe and scenery of the boys' club was really cool, but I'm gonna go with C on this one. Porco Rosso was one that I weirdly thought I wouldn't like, but it was very, very good. A really cool ocean vibe the whole time, playing dogfights, which was awesome, and our MC Porco was a pimp the whole time, and he's actually voiced by Michael Keaton, if you don't know, which I thought was pretty cool. So I'm gonna go S tier with this one. Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away were two that I watched a long time ago, and they are one of the best ones, but I feel like if I watched them again, I would have an even more special appreciation for these movies, but I will be putting them in S tier as well. Whisper of the Heart, this one's a good childhood romance movie. Like I said, a prequel to The Cat Returns, which has nothing to do with either of the movies. It just has the Baron. The Baron is in both of the movies. Still a very solid movie. I'm gonna go B with this one. The Wind Rises, this was one that was very much set in reality about planes, building them, and kind of the line between wanting to build planes as your passion and them being used for war and bloodshed. Also romance involved in this one, and it's a very tragic tale. I'm gonna go B on this one. Let me change some of these around. This one goes up here, and this one goes, honestly, we'll leave it there. Nausicaa of the Valley of Wind, like I said, kind of an honorary Studio Ghibli film, so it's on the tier list. It would technically be their first movie, and I think it's one of their best. It's a really good movie, kind of reminding me of Ark and Borderlands, if you've ever played those games. But we're gonna go solid A on this one. We're gonna put it right behind Ponyo. The Boy and the Heron, this was one that actually won an Academy Award for Best Animation, and deservingly so. It does have some really, really good animation, some of their best in any of their movies, but the story was not that good. I couldn't really get into it. It was nothing that special. I mean, it is what it is. So I'm gonna go C tier on this one. And that's the tier list, and that's the video. Subscribe if you want to see more, like the video if you liked it, and please comment down below. I would love to talk about the movies and what you guys think. Thanks, guys. Peace.